Recently, I have had an experience of realizing a point that I've been walking for my probably about almost 15 years, even more than that. And recently, within walking the Destiny Eye process, I have been recently correcting this point within myself and walking the living correction within my life, within my day-to-day living, to let go of this a pattern that I have existed within for those many years, over 15 years. And this pattern is seeing myself as ugly, and how I have built myself and really suppressed myself based on this starting point within who I think I am. And recently, I've created this belief about my face specifically that I had some kind of deformity or something wrong with it. And how this played out in my day-to-day living is that I would not be able to look at people for long periods of time. I would shy away from communication with people. I would not express myself in any way that drew attention towards me, or where there was any kind of whenever I was put on the spot, so to speak, I would be full of anxiety and having these thoughts in my head that people are going to judge me and I'm not even really good enough, I don't have anything to offer. So through this judgment and starting point of myself, of believing that I'm ugly, I created a whole personality or a whole possession point within myself around this point. That I'm ugly, I have nothing to offer, I'm less than other people, I'm inferior. That was a big point. I'm inferior to people. And through the destiny process, eventually I had to face this point of how I've created myself and how I've accepted myself to live into this point and to live out this point within my day-to-day living, how it's affected my relationships with everyone pretty much I've met. And recently I've been in agreement with my partner and how it's affected our relationship of not being able to connect, so to speak. It's taken a long time for this wall or barrier to drop, and for me to realize, through his support, that there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with the way I look. Also realizing that really anyone who is here, there's nothing wrong with who we are within this reality. There are, points of disability based on physical reasons and, consequences of our living within this reality, and that's something that everybody has to face. But who we are within our physical bodies is something to be accepted at this time. Supporting people and supporting myself to live at the utmost potential and not be defined and directed by the way I look inside my mind and the images that I have used to define who is superior and who is worthy of being successful and have attention on them, and who is not. And I've always found myself to not be worthy. So I haven't pursued the opportunities that I have had the opportunity to have access to in my fullest potential, because I'm afraid of these consequences and byproducts of this acceptance and allowance that I've been possessed by, of seeing myself not worthy, and so not putting myself out there and not pushing myself in the best of my ability. And this point of not accepting myself for who I am and judging myself it didn't really matter what people said to me. This was something that within my own mind I've created such a connection. Really looking at the thoughts that come up, the trigger points, stopping the trigger points at the root. One of the most potent trigger point was looking in the mirror and on my face seeing different little imperfections, and within going into that imperfection, the energy activated, I became depressed and had this sinking feeling within myself, and then that would activate the whole personality of being depressed and accepting that I'm not good enough and that I'm not worthy and I'm not going to be successful in the day because I'm ugly, and that's too bad for me. And the interesting thing is that I realized that I used this point of ugliness and beauty to, within my living, at moments create positive feelings for myself. And I use this to feel good at times, because when I saw someone that I judged as not as beautiful as me, or not as ugly as me, as how I looked at myself, then I would say, okay, see, I'm not that bad. And then, continue on in my day, and of course there's always going to be someone that's more beautiful than me. And, go into the depression feeling, seeing, there's another person that's more beautiful than me, and I'm never going to be that, and I'm never going to have the opportunities that they have. So defining completely myself by my mind and my beliefs that I've created about myself, and continually accept and allow these beliefs and judgments of myself to determine how I act during the day and who I am within other people. So recently I finally realized that there's nothing wrong with me. That was a big point, because I literally believed in my mind that I had something wrong with me, my face. And this was like a detriment and a point that I couldn't get over for a long time. I kept falling into the energy. I kept accepting, allowing myself to, the temptation was there to have that energy, stop it, but I would go into it and accept it, and I wasn't consistent within the stopping of that energy. And it still is here. It still has to be applied day by day. I have to walk the process to stay consistent within this point. But I just wanted to report that the faster you walk through these layers of the mind and of this personality, if people can relate to this, of seeing yourself as not beautiful and not perfect enough, is, realizing that how is this pattern being created within yourself. I mean, I stopped looking at, magazines and slowly stopping to look at all different things that I'm addicted to online, for instance, looking at, pictures of people and comparing myself to them, stopping all that, because I realize that that is going to activate that, temptation of falling into the energy of seeing myself not good enough. And so mapping all this out and writing it out to realize that, these are the trigger points and this is how I use this information to walk the process of stopping and, becoming my true potential, which is who I am in the physical reality, who I am walking day to day. It's not based on the way I look, it's not based on the way others perceive me, but it's based on who I am within my physical actions and how I use what I've learned and use the commitments I've made to stop the pattern now that has been ingrained in me for 15 years and let it go day by day, step by step, breath by breath, until the energy is dissipated through not participating in it, in those trigger points, breathing through that, not participating and moving on, and eventually the energy will dissipate where I can walk through it easily. So this is just a continuation or an update on this self-judgment pattern that I've been walking for like 2 years now through the Destiny process, through blogs and vlogs, and I just wanted to share this current realization and points that supported me to continue to walk this pattern and addiction point of self-judgment and self-sabotage out and walk the correction day by day to be free of this point and to be able to direct myself, not be directed by energy in the mind. So thanks for listening, and make any comments or if you have any questions or anything in the comment section, I'll do my best to assist. And I'll place links for different points or different blogs and vlogs that I've done in the past, so if you're interested in hearing my story, you can listen or read it. And thanks for listening, and have a good day. Bye.